Hey everyone, this is Jordan from PictureMonk.com, and welcome to episode, I think it's 64 of the podcast. I'm probably going to be wrong on that. But welcome to the episode, and so let me kind of tell you what I was talking about last week. If you follow me on my social media accounts like Facebook and stuff like that, I mentioned that I wasn't able to record a show, and I'll explain later. And so what it basically was the service that I use to host my podcast. You pay a certain amount and they give you a certain amount of hours. They don't really do data, but if you hit a certain amount of hours, which in my case was I think 3 or 2, then they you can't upload anymore after that. And so since the previous podcast in that time period was kind of a longer one, it hit over my 3-hour mark. And so I wasn't able to upload one at all. So this one I'm actually recording earlier than I usually do, because I usually record these on Saturdays. And so I'm actually recording this one on a Tuesday, one of those days. Because I tried to debate whether to record this on one day. So today is actually Thursday, so I'm recording it today. And so yeah, that was the reason I couldn't upload a podcast. So I definitely had to get this one out, and I'm not sure exactly how long this one's going to be, because I kind of still want to keep it under my mark, because I don't want to pay for 2 more hours of usage, which I'm not going to use, because I try to keep these podcasts fairly low, just so you can consume them real quickly and get out and get about your day. So that being said, let me stop rambling and let me get into the podcast. So this one I'm going to start out with like I usually do. I'm going to have a listener question of the week, news articles, fun things like that. The topic for this week, which as you can tell by the title, it's 6 photographers you definitely should know. And then I'm going to have the widget of the week like I always do. So the listener question of the week is one that was actually submitted to me a very, very long time ago by Jessica W. from New Zealand. And Jessica wrote, "Do you know of a way to attach your phone to your camera so you can take video on your phone while taking shots, much like you do with the GoPro?" And so I think what she's talking about is the little adapter that I have for the hot shoe of my camera, and that's where I can just kind of slide the GoPro in, and I can record GoPro video, time lapses and stuff like that while I'm using my camera. And so I just happen to have what she probably is talking about. So if you're watching the video, there is a device that I've been wanting for a while, and the reason I picked this question is because I finally have the thing. And so what it is, it's a holder for your cell phone, for pretty much any cell phone, and it attaches to the hot shoe just like the GoPro mount, and you can slide your phone in there. It fits pretty much any size phone. Because it's expandable. It's kind of a universal mount, and you can record video. You can use your phone. Maybe if you're shooting stills with your camera and you want to do like 4K video, like the iPhones have. I'm sure Android phones have them as well. You can do 4K video from your phone and kind of get cool aspects like that. One of the real reasons why I got this, and also I think my dad picked one up because he was talking about this too, was we use the trigger trap, which is the trigger trap I talked about on a few podcasts ago. And it's an iPhone app where you can take your iPhone and plug it into your camera and do cool things like time lapses and sound detection and shutter releases and all that kind of stuff. It has a whole bunch of options in it. But it's kind of weird to have your phone just kind of hanging out, when you're using your camera. So this is a mount for your phone, and you just plug the camera right into your phone there, and you have it all in one just like this. So if you're interested in something like this, I will leave a link to Amazon, the exact one that I got here, and so you can see that and see which one, see if it'll fit your camera. Pretty much fits any hot shoe. So if your camera has a hot shoe, you're probably going to be fine. But yeah, really cool device. So that is why I saved this question, because I knew I was going to be getting one and wanted to kind of actually have it to show before, so I just didn't have to talk about it and be like, well, I was going to get one, so now I got one, and so that's a cool little thing. So thank you, Jessica, for that question. And also, if you see me looking at my phone, I'm actually recording the audio on my phone, and also looking at the notes because I left my iPad in the other room with my son and he's sleeping, so I can't bother him. So let's get into the news. The news this week is okay. So there's a cool article that I found. Actually, two of them. They're sort of old, but I'm just now getting around to doing some cool news stuff. And it's called "Photographer Captures the Milky Way Mirrored in the Flooded Salt Flats." So it looks like photographer, what's his name? Daniel Corden, Kordan. He went out to one of the largest salt flats in Bolivia. It's actually the world's largest salt flat in Bolivia. And he took, he went out there at night and it was flooded. And you can imagine that big area, flooded with shallow water. It's almost like a huge mirror that you have. And so he was able to capture a photo of the Milky Way, not only in the sky, but mirrored right down on top of the big mirror that he has in the salt flats. And it's a really cool image. A lot of those stuff that I've seen where it shows the Milky Way mirrored, you have to get really good circumstances to actually capture that. And some people, Photoshop it in and just kind of copy it from the sky, invert it, and kind of blend it in with the lake there. But this was a legit photo, so it actually looks really cool. So I'm going to leave the article so you guys can check that out if you are so inclined. And the article can be found at PictureMonk.com/PMP064. Don't quote me on the number. Pretty sure that's it. I still can't remember how many podcasts I've done. So let's go to the next one. There is a I don't know if I would call it a software because it's kind of a web software, but it's a software that can easily add color to your black and white images. I've actually tried this a couple times on a bunch of photos, and it does okay. It's not the best thing, and as you can imagine, it's an algorithm that just kind of computes what it thinks the color should be given the subject, and it applies the colors to the photo. So there's a web app for it. And the URL is way too long, so if you're interested in trying this out for free, you can go to the show notes and check it out there. But what it does is just basically determine the elements in the scene and then selects colors and gradients depending on what's in the scene. And so I tried this with landscape scene, a person, like a headshot, and I actually tried to trick it a little bit. I took a photo of mine from the beach, converted it to black and white. So it was originally shot in color and raw, and uploaded them. And the best one that it did was the regular landscape scene, not the converted one, and not the person. The regular landscape scene looked fairly well. There was a couple gray splotchy spots in there, but for the most part, it did really well. And so I wanted to talk about that just because I think it's kind of a cool thing that is. It's stuff people are thinking about, how to take old photos. That's kind of the first place my mind went was, taking old photos and applying color to them. And so this is a little self-promotion here. I actually did a video a very, very long time ago where I show you how to add color back into black and white images in Photoshop. It's not an automatic thing. You do have to paint in the color, but it blends in really well and it looks pretty real. So if you are a person who does like to do old photos like that, and you want to try to rebuild photos and put them in color, that's a great way to do it in Photoshop currently, and you have control over it. So, but you can try the software if you want to. Like I said, it worked fairly okay. It's not going to be completely accurate, but for the most part, it worked out great. So, I wish I remember the name of the company, but I don't, and I didn't write that down. But it'll be in the show notes, so you can check that out there. All right, so let's get into the topic. So I got 6 photographers you should know, and the reason I wanted to do this is because I've been looking on Instagram for a while, and just looking at other people's work just for inspirational purposes, just to see what other people are doing and kind of the process they're working with. And so I wrote down 6 photographers you should know, and this kind of expands, or it kind of spans many different areas of photography. And of course, some of them are the ones I'm interested in because that's the ones I kind of pointed towards when I was first looking. So I'm going to try to pronounce all of these people's names and see what happens. So here we go. This first one is Rocco, I guess. Rocco Gatti, landscape photographer. I have an Instagram. I'm going to leave all the links to the article, the particular social media that I follow them on. It's not their only one, I guarantee, but I'm going to leave the link so you can go and see exactly what I'm talking about here. So this guy is where I first found him was on Instagram, and I'm kind of pulling up his stuff here. Beautiful landscapes, and he's not really followed by a whole lot of people, which is kind of crazy. But he, I guess the camera equipment and the camera gear that he shoots with is the Canon 6D, which is the camera I have right over here. And he has Samsung. And the only reason I know that is because it says it in the description of his profile. But his landscape stuff is really, really great. The color tones are amazing. I'm looking on his Instagram. He does have a couple personal things on there, but I mean, that's just what you do when you follow people. And just a lot of good photos. So definitely link to his stuff if you want to go follow him. So like I said, landscape photographer, just a really, really, really good stuff. I really like the processing mainly. The scenes are obviously gorgeous, but I like the processing. This other one is sort of a local guy from my area in North Carolina, and his name is Sterling E. Stevens. And this is a real estate photographer. And you can find his website. That's kind of where I keep up because he has a good blog and stuff like that. Also follow on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. But I mainly just check out his website, blog mostly. And his website is SE Stevens. Sorry, geez, let me repeat that one more time. SEStevens.com. And he's just a local guy, like I said, runs around this area taking photos mainly in the Raleigh-Durham area. He has a couple other ones in Virginia and stuff, but it looks like most of it's paid stuff. It's not him just running out and taking photos, but there are some stuff where it looks like he's just having fun taking photos. And so really great real estate stuff there. So if you're into that, make sure you check that out. The next guy, Tony Rosland. I actually follow him on Instagram. I try to follow him everywhere he goes because he's really great too. He does a lot of real estate stuff as well and a lot of product photography. And so I've kind of started keeping up with him more because of the new Instagram Stories account that's kind of getting released. And so he's posting stuff on there regularly too. So if you don't know what Instagram Stories is, that's been in the news a lot because they copied off Snapchat pretty much, but it's basically like Snapchat just for Instagram. So he's been posting more there too. So, like I said, real estate and photography, really good stuff there. So if you want to follow him, he has his real estate or his Instagram link on the show notes, so you can check that out there. This next guy, I'm not even going to try to post or to say his last name because I can't. But he's a German photographer, and his name is Dr. Nicholas Rammelt. I have no idea. But he does landscapes and starscapes and stuff like that. Really amazing stuff. And I think he did a course. If I remember correctly, I looked on his website. He did a course on how he does his post processing, and it's a free kind of course. However, if you're in the United States, it's all in German. So you have no idea what he's saying. So it's kind of fun to watch it and not understand a word he's saying. But it's a really good course if you can sit through it. And just looking at his stuff, his website is www.venture.photography. So he's kind of a guy that has the .photography domain name, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, really good stuff. It's awesome. I just imagine the preparation that goes into all of that is just, it's crazy to me. So let's do the next one is Matt Ferris. This guy I've kind of seen for a long time here. And the reason I kind of checked out his stuff is because I'm a huge fan of the UFC, MMA, and all that kind of stuff. And so I was looking around on Instagram because that's mainly where I find all my inspiration. I was looking around on Instagram and saw some cool MMA photos, and clicked on his stuff, and there was a lot of MMA stuff there. He also does other sports, but mainly the stuff that I'm interested in is the MMA stuff. And so, really awesome stuff. I'll put a link to his Instagram just in case you want to follow it there. But that's kind of where I kind of started following, was on Instagram, and just the shots are super crisp, super clear, sharp, gritty. Some of them are gritty. Captures the action perfect. Guy's getting punched in the face at the right exact moment. He's got all the shots. It's just, he's a really great photographer. So if you want to check him out, you can there. And the last one is also another real estate photographer, but this one is on. I found him on YouTube actually. This guy is Christopher Cochran, and he's a real estate photographer, but he also does a lot of drone work. So if you're into drones, this guy's kind of cool. So it looks like he lives in Florida, or it's either Florida or California, if I remember correctly. I want to say it's Florida, but I'm probably wrong. So I found his stuff because he had a video, which I actually am probably going to copy off of his video, or the theme of his video at least. Day in the life of a real estate photographer. I'm not like a full-time real estate photographer, but I do have a couple trips that I have to go on, and going to do like a vlog thing. And so I was looking at his stuff, and I got to see I think he shot 2 houses, and he interviewed the real estate agents that were there, the sellers of the house, and then he went to take some headshots of a couple of real estate agents in the area. And then I looked at his drone work, and so he has a lot of cinematic drone work where he's, it looks like freelance projects where he's going out and just kind of flying it just for the fun of it and capture cool scenes. So, again, he doesn't have a lot of followers on YouTube, but he really should, because he's really awesome at that stuff. So, gonna go ahead and follow him there if you want to get in on that. And so that's the 6 photographers you should know. Ran through that really quickly. Didn't think I would go that quick. What time we got here? Okay, 18 minutes. I'm good. I'm really scared about going over my time now. So let's go ahead and wrap this up with the widget of the week. The widget of the week is a very funny video. Again, on I try to not make this like a easy widget of the week, because obviously the widget of the week could be this little adapter for your camera that I just talked about earlier. But that would be kind of cheaping out. So I found a video that are funny photographer confessions, and it just kind of has people talking about stuff that they have said or have done to, in a way, make them think that they're better photographers. I guess that's the only way to put it. And my favorite one, just because I have done this before, my favorite quote was, "I bought a battery grip just so my camera looked more professional." Because I did do that. I had the first real camera that I was trying to learn photography on was, this is just a quick story, was the Canon T2i. Long time ago. It's probably like a 7-year-old camera now or whatever. And so I was going to shoot my very first wedding. I was still in school, and the professor there, he's like, "Hey, one of the students around here is getting married," so she thought she could save on a photographer, because it's just a small wedding. Save on a photographer for just coming to the arts department and hiring somebody there. And so the professor gave me the contact, and I talked with her and stuff. And the week before I had to go out and shoot the wedding, I went on Amazon and ordered a battery grip to make my camera look larger, so it looked like a professional camera. What made it worse, I guess, was I had 2 cameras with me, and they were both T2Is. So one had the battery grip on it, one didn't. And what it inevitably did was made me mess up my grip on, like, trying to press buttons, because my hand was used to being down here with the battery grip, and then it was up here, and then, the battery grip has the button on the side, so when you turn portrait mode, you have a button up there. But when I would have the other camera without the battery grip, I was looking for that button, and I would miss shots because of that. So it's just a stupid thing you do, but it's still kind of funny. So if you want to check out that video, you can go check that out. I'll link to that in the show notes. Petapixel posted the video originally on their site, but I don't know who done it, so that's not even correct grammar. I don't know who actually produced the video. So if you want to check that out, go to the show notes and check that video there. So that's about it, guys. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. Sorry about last week, but life happens. I can't do math, so that's why I messed up my time. But thanks, guys, for joining me in this video. Head on over to PictureMonk.com for all things fun with photography, I guess. And don't forget to join the PictureMonk Nation Facebook page. That's always a fun time. We're always posting photos on there. I'm trying to post as many as I can, but I'm too busy doing the podcast here. So thanks, guys, for joining me in this podcast, and I'll catch you in the next one.